Hello guys, Jamie here, just chilling on my bed with Felix, who's enjoying a little bit of a snooze. Dead to the world, bless him. But before this video begins, I just wanted to give a little bit of a quick disclaimer. So in this video, over the next few minutes, I'm going to be discussing how I use intermittent fasting to help control my type 1 diabetes on a busy day when I don't really have the mental capacity to be worrying about my blood sugar. So I will be talking about not eating, or at least prevented myself from eating until much later in the day. Now, if you have suffered with an eating disorder in the past or you're currently experiencing one, then please don't watch this video. I would hate to be giving unhelpful and potentially dangerous ideas to people that really didn't need to be hearing them. So if that is you, don't worry, I don't mind. Click out the video and I'll see you another time. But however, if that isn't you and you'd like to find out how I use intermittent fasting to help me control my type 1 diabetes, then do stay tuned because that's going to be coming up in this video. In the relentless mind mix that is managing type 1 diabetes, it's hard to remove yourself from the experience and then objectively reflect with your blood sugar bouncing up and down, taking your mood along for the ride. First, there's the semi-educated guess, which is then processed by your eyes, and then you think about it in your brain, and it ends up with the insertion of insulin into fatty tissue. And then there's, after that, the subsequent 4 or so hours that are dominated by fixing your mistake. And let's face it, you're likely to make a mistake. So this relentless circle leaves a very small amount of space in your head for much else. But I found that recently my condition and my current job aren't that compatible. Before we go any further, this isn't going to be a juicy expose on my current employer. Not yet anyway. There is so much more to do in my working days. They're so demanding that almost as a rule, I'm waiting until very late in the day to eat. And at first, this was just because that was how the days went. The current situation is that I'm doing a lot more than I used to do, which means there's just not that much time to eat. However, I noticed that denying myself food also relieved me of the responsibility of managing my type 1 diabetes. So it goes without saying, in an ideal world, I would eat whether I wanted to eat or not, and it'd be entirely by choice. And I'm not saying this because I'm a medical professional, I'm just sharing my experience. But being able to decide when I eat just isn't how it is right now, and it doesn't look like it's about to change anytime soon, at work anyway. It's a simple fact that from Monday to Friday, my working week, I'm finding myself without really the time to monitor my blood sugar. So if when I wake up, I test at a healthy level, and a perfect one for me would be between 6 and 7, I can be confident that I'm going to have enough glucose in my system to last the busy day ahead. So the choice to eat a sandwich or a pasta salad or pretty much any typical British lunchtime food comes with an unwelcome extra for people with type 1. They're all classically carby dishes, and although they are delicious, I'm not going to deny that, they require a commitment to manage the toll on the blood sugars that you're going to experience for many hours after, something that I'm just not able to do currently. So first, carbs were removed for most of the day, but then eating mostly pre-cooked chicken and boiled eggs firstly wasn't very appetizing. 2, it's expensive. All that chicken costs a lot of money. So over time, unless my stomach was digesting itself, I would avoid eating until the working day was over. And on the whole, it's been very manageable. After a couple of days of practice, you realise that it's not Mother Nature that created 3 square meals a day. It's most likely left over from a stuffy Victorian society, which I think had more meal times than just 3. So very easily, after a few days practice, I could wait until the late afternoon for my first meal, and the effect on my blood sugar was crazy. Provided I tested regularly and knew where it was going, I was often staying comfortably within my safe zone for most of the day. So removing food removed the need to inject and then correct and then repeat the whole process. It meant that I could keep up with all the demands of the day. And again, I'm not excusing the circumstances, but I'm just putting forward an idea that could help people. So if you've got a crazy day ahead, or your type 1 diabetes is preventing you from doing something or attending an event, for example, because that anxiety of managing your blood sugars is just too much, then as long as you test regularly and you're in a safe zone, don't eat. Wait until the madness has ended, and then have a lovely, big, well-deserved meal with all the carbs you want. The reason for posting this video is that I'm worried that there's people out there who aren't fully present in society, who aren't achieving their full potential because their day is dominated by diabetes. I mean, I was one of those people. So I'm saying give yourself a break and go for it. If the lows and the highs are an issue, then remove the food, which in return removes the insulin, which mostly removes the highs and the lows. And if you're thinking that this is madness, then just search online for intermittent fasting. It's a thing. Trust me, people are putting off their first meal until late in the day for many reasons. And I just do it because I'm type 1 diabetic. But again, I must reiterate that I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm just sharing my experiences because it might help somebody.